Okay, so let's unpack this. Before we even dive in, let's clear up one crucial pronunciation, right? We're talking about Phuket,
Mm.
not forget. Got it. Good. Because today we're taking a deep dive into something many of you have probably dreamed about, owning a slice of paradise in Thailand.
Yeah, that dream.
We know buying property anywhere can feel like navigating a maze, right? But especially in a foreign country. Different laws, different processes. It can seem, well, like a whole new level of complexity.
Well, what's truly insightful here is that while the idea of buying property internationally might seem complex, the process itself, particularly in Thailand, it's actually quite structured, pretty step by step.
Okay.
Our goal today is really to give you that shortcut, to being well informed. We want to highlight the key takeaways, those aha moments you need, right from that initial dream to confidently holding the keys.
So what does this all mean for you if you're seriously thinking about this, about making that leap?
Well, our source, it's a comprehensive guide on the Thai property contract process, and it emphasizes one golden rule above all others. Get a lawyer involved,
Right.
right from day one.
Absolutely crucial.
And we're going to dive into why that's not just like a suggestion, but really your absolute peace of mind, your protection throughout this whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's begin with the exciting part, yeah? You found the one?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's that stunning villa or, a sleek condo overlooking the Andaman Sea.
That perfect spot.
Exactly. After you've had a good look, the very first formal step is to reserve it. Now, this isn't just about agreeing on the price, though that's central, of course.
Right.
Our source really pinpoints a few critical details you can't overlook in this negotiation phase. Like, are those stylish furniture pieces you saw included?
Yeah, the staging stuff.
What about the appliances, the air conditioning units, even the curtains?
Yeah.
You really want to get all of that down in writing. Exactly. And beyond inclusions, this is also your chance to talk about any repairs or upgrades you might need. If something needs a fresh coat of paint or maybe a minor fix.
Okay.
Make sure the seller agrees to sort it out before handover. You also need to confirm your desired completion date, especially if it's an existing property.
Makes sense.
And for new builds, this is really important. A clear, detailed payment schedule is absolutely vital. It needs to outline how those installments will align with construction milestones.
Right, so you're not paying everything up front before it's even built.
Precisely. Once you've agreed on these main points, you'll sign what's called a reservation agreement.
Okay.
Now, this is a fairly straightforward document. Looks simple, but don't let its simplicity fool you. It formally takes the property off the market for you.
Ah, okay.
It confirms your intent to buy, lists the property details, the address, the agreed price. Think of it as your first serious handshake, It shows both you and the seller are truly committed.
And here's where it gets really interesting with a reservation deposit. This isn't just a fee, it's kind of a strategic move for both sides with the unique Thai twist.
Mm-hmm.
You'll typically pay around, say, 5% of the total price. Now, while your deposit is generally non-refundable if you back out, unless there are specific conditions written in, like the property failing a legal check.
Right, like a contingency.
Exactly. But the surprising part is this. If the seller withdraws, they are often contractually obligated to pay you double that deposit back.
Double, yeah. It's a pretty strong safeguard for the buyer, actually. You don't see that everywhere.
No kidding. And it counts towards your final purchase price, too.
Correct. It's part of the deal.
So with that initial commitment made, the real protection of your investment begins. Because before you sign the main contract, there's some critical homework, due diligence.
The crucial part.
You really don't want to find out later that there are hidden problems, or worse, that the person selling it doesn't actually have the legitimate right to sell it.
Nightmare scenario.
Right. It's all about making absolutely certain you know exactly what you're getting into.
And it's particularly insightful that trying to do these checks yourself, well, frankly, it's not recommended. This is precisely why getting local legal expertise is non-negotiable for property checks in Thailand.
Why is that specifically?
Well, unlike maybe some Western systems you're familiar with, Thai property titles can have these nuances, like specific land use rights, is it zoned for agriculture, residential, or even unregistered claims that only a local expert, someone who knows the system inside out, can uncover.
Ah,
Your lawyer is the one who's going to dig into all the paperwork, spot those hidden issues, and make sure everything lines up correctly with the land office records.
Yeah.
It's not just peace of mind, it's really critical risk mitigation.
that makes sense. The cost versus the potential problem.
Exactly. The cost of good legal counsel just pales in comparison to the potential financial disaster of, say, a fraudulent title or getting stuck in a property dispute in a foreign legal system.
And a major part of this involves checking the title deeds, or shunnote, as it's known locally. This isn't just any document proving ownership, right?
That's right. The shinote is the official document proving who owns the land. And crucially, it's the highest and most secure form of land ownership title in Thailand.
Highest and most secure.
Okay. Yeah, there are other lesser titles, but a shinote gives you the most solid property rights. Your lawyer checks this thoroughly, confirms the seller is indeed the legal owner, has the right to sell, and they'll even trace the ownership history to make sure it's legitimate.
So the obvious question is, would you really risk a huge investment without understanding its full legal history and exactly what kind of title you're getting?
You wouldn't want to know.
This due diligence phase is also where you look hard for any, let's say, nasty surprises attached to the property. We call these encumbrances and restrictions.
Things tied to the land.
Think of things like outstanding loans, maybe mortgages, or any legal claims against the land. Your lawyer will scrutinize that title deed for anything registered against it. They'll also dig into things like zoning laws. Can you actually use the property how you intend to? And check for any court cases or, heaven forbid, bankruptcy proceedings linked to the property. It's really about clearing the path so you own it free and clear.
And it's absolutely essential, don't forget this, to get copies of all the relevant permits. Things like the EIA, that's the Environmental Impact Assessment, and the building permits.
Why are those so important?
Well, they're not just bureaucratic hoops. They actually ensure the property was built legally and follows all the regulations. You absolutely need these explicitly attached to your main contract, the sale and purchase agreement.
Got it. Attach the permits. Okay, so with your due diligence hopefully all clear, it's time for the main event, the sale and purchase agreement, or SPA.
The big one.
This is the official contract, the one that truly locks everything in. It's usually drafted by the seller, and you'll get a draft copy to look over first.
And the SPA, it's really the blueprint for the entire transaction. It needs to be comprehensive. It has to clearly state the exact property details, unit number, size, specific features.
Yeah.
Then the agreed price and a crystal clear payment schedule, including that initial deposit and any other installments.
Right.
The official transfer date is crucial, along with a precise breakdown of who pays for what, especially transfer fees and taxes. That needs to be spelled out.
Okay. Are there things in Thai SPAs that might be different from what we're used to?
Yeah, sometimes. You might see specific clauses about land registration fees being based on the property's valuation by the government, which can sometimes differ from the actual price you paid.
Interesting.
And for new builds, you really want very detailed specs on construction materials and completion guarantees, often with penalty clauses if there are delays. You need to scrutinize those.
Good to know. And responsibilities.
This document also clearly lays out the responsibilities. The seller. Provide clear title, make sure the property is free from any encumbrances, handle the handover. You, the buyer. Make payments on time, provide all the necessary documents for the ownership transfer. Pretty straightforward, but needs to be clear.
This is why, again, reviewing that draft agreement with your lawyer is just so utterly critical.
Cannot emphasize that enough.
They can spot potential issues you might totally miss. They'll check that the contract aligns with specific Thai laws, like the Condominium Act, customer protection laws, and crucially, they'll compare the draft with the actual land department records.
Cross-referencing.
Exactly. To make sure there are no discrepancies, ensuring what you're about to sign matches the official truth. It really is your ultimate safety net.
Generally, you'll want to aim to sign the final SPA within about 30 days of that initial reservation agreement. That gives enough time for all the legal checks.
Okay, 30 days.
And it's vital, absolutely vital, that the details in the SPA precisely match the official records held by the land department. Property description, ownership details, everything. Now, technically, a lawyer isn't strictly mandatory for reviewing contracts in Thailand, but honestly, for a significant investment like this, it's just profoundly sensible.
Yeah, seems like a no-brainer. Okay, let's talk money. The crucial step of getting the funds sorted, especially if you're a foreign buyer, This isn't just about having the cash, right? It's about making sure it's transferred correctly and you have the exact paperwork.
Exactly. There's a key requirement here. The full purchase price must be transferred in foreign currency directly to the seller's bank account in Thailand.
Foreign currency, okay. Not Thai baht from abroad.
No, foreign currency
Yeah.
into. The receiving bank in Thailand then converts it into Thai baht and issues specific documentation. It's also vital that the transfer is made from an account held in your name, the buyer's name.
Right.
And the payment instructions, the little memo field. It must clearly state the purpose. Something like payment for condominium unit number on behalf of your full name. That clarity helps avoid any confusion or delays.
Okay, that makes sense. So after the money's transferred and converted, you mentioned specific documentation unique to Thailand.
Yes. For amounts over US $50,000, the Thai bank will typically issue what's called a Foreign Exchange Transaction Form, or FETF.
FETF, got it.
For smaller sums, you'll get something simpler, like a credit advice slip. Now, these documents are absolutely essential. They are your proof that the money originated from overseas in foreign currency.
And why is that proof so important?
Here's the critical part. These FTFs are also your legal key to taking your money back out of Thailand when you eventually sell a property.
Repatriation.
Exactly. Without them, you can face significant hurdles trying to transfer your sale proceeds out of the country later on. You'll need these FETFs, along with a confirmation letter from the bank, when you go to register the property at the land department.
Okay, wow. So hold on to those FETFs.
Definitely. And a little pro tip, keep all your bank receipts from every single payment. They show the exchange rate used, which can be useful too.
Good tip. What about payment schedules? You mentioned them for new builds.
Yeah, payment terms can vary quite a bit. When buying off-plan, for instance, you'll almost certainly have a series of payments spread out over time. They're often linked to specific construction milestones, like you pay a chunk when the foundation is done, another when the roof goes on, and so on.
Makes sense.
The sale and purchase agreement, your SPA, will lay out these payment schedules clearly and explicitly. It's worth noting, while escrow accounts are sometimes used in Western markets, they're less common in Thailand. So the exact details of the payment schedule, and also who pays which transfer fees and taxes, that's all subject to negotiation and must be clearly spelled out and agreed upon in your SPA.
Okay. So main contract settled, payments underway. Now it's time to get all your ducks in a row regarding the paperwork for the official transfer, right?
Exactly. This stage is all about making sure every single document is in perfect order, both for you as the buyer and for the seller. Getting this right is absolutely paramount for a smooth, hassle-free transfer of ownership.
So what do I need as the buyer?
As a buyer, you'll typically need copies of your passport. Make sure the visa page showing your latest entry stamp into Thailand is clear and legible. If you're married, even if buying solely in your name, you might need your marriage certificate and possibly a copy of your spouse's passport, maybe along with a letter of authorization from them. It's also usually helpful to have your parents' full names noted down somewhere.
Okay, passport, visa, maybe marriage docs, parents' names. What about the seller?
The seller, on their side, has their own set of critical documents. The most significant one we just talked about, that foreign exchange transaction form, the EET form, that proves the purchase price came into Thailand correctly.
Right, the money trail.
Exactly. They'll also need to supply the property's all-important title deed, the shenote. This confirms they are the legal owner, and crucially, that the property is free from any mortgages or other claims.
The clean title.
For new builds, the developer should also provide copies of their legal company documents, like the company registration and director ID copies, just to confirm their legitimacy. And if you happen to be buying the property through a company structure, there's an extra layer. You'll need a certified copy of that company's certificate of incorporation, basically the company's official ID.
Gotcha. Okay, paperwork lined up, payments made. What's next? Inspection.
Yes, the next big step is the property inspection and the handover. Think of it like a final quality control check for your new place.
Like a walkthrough.
Exactly. You're looking for any issues that might have cropped up since your last visit, or maybe problems that weren't fixed as agreed in your SPA. This involves walking through the unit, usually with a checklist. Check the fixtures work, look for any water damage, make sure everything is exactly as it should be according to the contract.
And if I find something, a leaky tap or a scratch?
If you find anything that's not quite right,
Yes.
a leaky tap, scratch on the floor, maybe a window that doesn't close properly, you need to point it out immediately. Don't be shy.
Okay.
This is usually done formally, in writing, via an inspection letter or defect list. The seller or the developer then has a set period, typically a few weeks, defined in the SPA, to sort out these issues.
And I shouldn't sign off until they're fixed.
Absolutely. You want to make sure they're properly fixed before you sign off on the inspection. Do not accept the handover until you're completely happy with the property's condition. The formal property handover itself often coincides with making the final payment. Once that's done and you're satisfied, the keys are yours.
Ah, the keys.
And while you can technically use a power of attorney, a POA, for the registration later, being there yourself for this final inspection, highly recommended. You catch things others might miss.
Good advice. Okay, keys in hand.
Well,
Almost there. What's the absolute final step, the official transfer?
This is the big moment, yes. The final lap, where you officially become the owner of your Thai property. The official ownership transfer at the land department.
Sounds intimidating, the land department.
It might seem a bit daunting, but honestly, it's actually a pretty straightforward process if you've done all your homework and have your paperwork ready. You'll need to be there or have your representative with that power of attorney to sign the final documents.
Okay.
When you arrive, you'll present all the necessary documents we talked about. The land officer reviews everything, prepares the official transfer forms, and then both you and the seller will sign them. This is where the sale is officially recorded in the government system. And yes, again, having your Thai lawyer present to oversee this part, absolutely recommended. They ensure everything is done correctly by the book.
Makes sense. Are there costs at the stage? Fees and taxes?
Yes, definitely. At this stage, there are several government fees and taxes that need to be paid. Now, these are usually split between the buyer and seller based on what you agreed in your sale and purchase agreement. That's why clarity in the SPA is key.
Right. What are the main ones?
The main costs typically include a transfer fee, which is usually 2% of the property's assessed value note. Assessed value, not always the sale price.
Okay, 2%.
Then there's stamp duty, usually 0.5% of the assessed value or the sale price, whichever amount is higher.
Okay.
There's also something called specific business tax, or SBT. This usually applies if the seller has owned the property for less than 5 years. It's typically 3.3% of the assessed value or sale price.
Okay, so that's more on the seller usually. They're flipping it quickly.
Often, yes, but it can't be negotiated. And finally, there's income tax. This is withholding tax related to the sale. It's calculated based on how long the seller owned the property and its value. Again, usually borne by the seller, but technically negotiable in the SPA.
Lots of potential costs to clarify in the SPA then.
Absolutely. Clarity up front saves headaches later. Once all that paperwork is signed and all the fees and taxes are paid, the land department will officially issue the new title deed, your shenote.
The shenote with my name on it.
Exactly. This document is the ultimate proof of your ownership. It will have your name on it, confirming you are the rightful owner. You also typically receive a house registration book known as a Tabian Bayan. It's sort of like a passport for the property address used for official residency purposes.
Gabi MBN, okay.
For condominiums, you'll get the original duplicate of the title deed specific to your unit, while the master copy for the building stays with the land department. So the bottom line is, without that shenote in your name, you don't legally own the property in Thailand. It's absolutely critical.
Crystal clear. That shenote is the goal.
That's spot on. And just as critical is understanding a few special considerations, like buying a property that's already been lived in, a resale. It's a bit different from getting a brand new place straight from the developer.
How so?
The basic legal steps are quite similar. You still need due diligence, the SPA, the land department transfer. But the negotiation dynamics often change quite a bit.
Ah, okay. Tell me more.
Well, when you buy a resale, you're usually dealing directly with the current owner, who might be an individual, not a big company. This often means there's potentially more room for negotiation.
On what? Price?
Yeah, price is a big one. But also what's included in the sale, maybe they'll throw in the furniture or appliances they have. The handover date might be more flexible too. And unlike buying new, where a developer might sometimes assist with certain paperwork with a resale, you as the buyer definitely need to ensure you secure your own foreign exchange transaction forms, those FTFs.
Right, because the money has to come from my overseas account for this transaction.
Precisely. The seller's previous FTF doesn't apply to you.
Makes sense. What about buying from overseas? Is that even possible?
Buying property in Thailand from afar might sound daunting, but yeah, that's actually quite doable these days, especially with technology. You don't necessarily need to be physically present for the entire process.
Really? How does that work?
Well, initial steps, like reserving a property, reviewing and signing agreements, a lot of that can be handled remotely. Usually involves sending scanned copies of documents back and forth and making international bank transfers for payments.
Okay.
This is really where having a trusted legal representative or maybe a good agent on the ground in Thailand becomes absolutely indispensable. They can guide you confidently through these remote steps.
What about the final stages, like the handover and going to the land department?
For those final stages, especially the property handover inspection and the official registration at the land department, you can appoint someone to act on your behalf using a power of attorney, or POA.
Okay, a POA. Does it need special preparation?
Yes, it does. That
Right.
POA document needs to be properly legalized. This often requires getting it notarized in your home country, and sometimes it might also need to be authenticated by the Thai embassy or consulate in your country. Your lawyer in Thailand can advise on the exact requirements.
Okay, so it's a formal process.
Very formal. Then your appointed lawyer, or perhaps a trusted agent, can represent you at the land department, sign the final documents, complete the ownership transfer, and collect that precious title deed for you. Reviewing the sale and purchase agreement remotely is obviously a critical step here, needing extra diligence from your legal counsel back home, perhaps. Working with a Thai lawyer, once you're satisfied, the contract can be signed where you are and sent back, usually via international courier, to your representative in Thailand.
Wow, okay. So it is possible, just needs careful management and good representation.
Absolutely. Careful management is key.
So what does this all mean then, wrapping this up? From that initial dream, maybe scrolling through listings, to officially owning a piece of paradise in, let's say it in Phuket, you've now basically got the map, right, to navigate the exciting, maybe slightly complex world of Thai property purchase. It might seem like a bit of a trek, I guess, with all the paperwork and the different stages we've talked about. But honestly, with the right guidance, the right lawyer, it's probably not as complex or scary as it first sounds.
Yeah, zooming out for a moment, it really comes down to being prepared and trusting that expert guidance. The due diligence we stressed, getting good legal counsel, being meticulous with the documentation, it all just builds a really solid foundation for your ownership.
Right.
Taking it one step at a time, just as our Force Guide describes, really makes the entire journey feel much more straightforward and, importantly, secure.
This leads us to ask, I suppose, a crucial question for you listening. Now that you know the path, now that you understand the critical steps and the safeguards involved, what's holding you back from finding your own perfect place in the sun? What specific details, maybe about Thai property law or perhaps financing options, would you want to explore further now?
Knowing the process really does simplify what can appear from the outside like a really complex journey. With the right information and definitely the right professional support, that dream of owning property in Thailand is well within reach. It allows you to focus more on the joy of your new home rather than any anxieties about the purchase process itself.